McKinnon, the 18-year-old from Mosman in Sydney. We are about to learn a lot more about these two teams. And here we go into the last quarter. Downey gets it. Audley's in there. Loynes goes the tackle. Hosking willing herself to the ball. Played for the free. The umpire's not falling for that. It's going to be tight and tough like we saw in the opening stages, Shiloh.
Absolutely. It's almost a grand final type atmosphere and great experience for these two teams as they work in this short competition.
Downey palms it down. And there was Audley again. Kicks to a one-on-one. Just tries to pump it. Bibby does well. Tompkins, she's tackled as soon as she gets it. Stolen by Ikon. She puts the afterburners on. Handballs over the top to Loynes. Ikon goes again. Oh, Loynes spoiled her in the end. Tackle from Faruja. Ball spills clear. Big ball to be won here. Whichever team can score the first goal will really give them a pep in their step.
Natalie Ikon's really exciting. She was discovered at the AFL's first talent search last year, and she's got pace to burn. We know she's done athletics, but she's got the skills to match.
McKinnon, Dalpos, she'll apply the tackle, so too does Bibby. Audley's really lifted as well, seeing a lot of the ball. McKinnon wins it again. Barr goes the toe poke, it wasn't effective. Pops out the back here, Gillespie Jones for the Blues. Moving it to Kennedy. Taking the mark, sending it back inside 50. Now, it wasn't a great kick. They'd have the numbers here. Nguyen loses her footing. Barr's in there. Scrapping hard. A quick handball fight out to Hosking. And then it comes the way of Kennedy for the Blues. Sends it into the goal square. Good spoil. Great defence.
Terrific effort there by the tall defenders down there for the Giants. And, you know, frenetic pace. The ball is going to keep popping in and out of contest for this whole quarter. So everyone's got to be aware the whole time.
Spins back in play, clears the ruckman. Vesio, swing and a miss, an air swing. Still going, here is Pound, and she dribbles it through. The Blues break the deadlock. Pound from Albury, picked 30 in the draft, and she gives the Blues the edge. They lead it by 6 points.
Well, that's exactly what Gab Pound does. She's a really dangerous small forward. We spoke about how important they are earlier. Works hard, hunts the footy, and she's got great boot to ball speed and accuracy to burn.
I feel like the small forwards are going to play a big role in this competition because we're not going to see a lot of pack marks. So someone's got to be at the fall of the ball.
We have a look at the goal kickers for the Blues. Jacobson, Vesio, Audley and Pound. Plenty of small goal kickers in there. So they get their nose in front. Still plenty to play. Loynes swoops. Dodges the tackle, gives it back to Davey. She'll be looking to lift, playing off half-back in this last quarter. Got a bit of run about them now. Jacobson, long lead. She ignores that from Shearlaw, instead kicks to a contest. Gillespie Jones is in there, can't pick it up. Good tackle applied by Del Pellegrini. Pound goes again, tries to barge her way through. Comes back to Kennedy. Hacks the ball, Shearlaw loops the handball over the top. They're pressing. Well played there for the Giants in Guest. Strong in defence, but the kick has been swallowed up by Hardiman. And a good mark by Hosking. She was forced to stand her ground, and closing late was her Giants opponent. Shepherd on the mark. Hosking takes off. She'll pop it up to the contest. Oh, eyes only on the ball was Gillespie Jones. She's hit, she's down, but Downey swoops and Downey scores for the Blues. And what a snap for Carlton. 2 in a minute, and they have taken this game by the scruff of its neck.
That goal is definitely owed to Katie Loynes. She blocked for her teammate on the mark and allowed her to get forward of 50 and create a contest. Excellent. She's had a great start to the quarter.
Well, that's the value of Katie Loynes, you know, having her fit and up and going in football again. And she's recovered from ankle reconstructions and knee reconstruction, and she's back out there bringing her trademark hardness and releasing her teammates.
So they might have just cracked this game open. Early stages of the last quarter, it's the Blues by 12 points. Downey, the goal kicker, she's doing it in the ruck. Here's Loynes, bump put on her, she goes to ground. High kick inside 50. Oh, desperate dive from Barclay. and that is not paid. It's just popped out at the last minute. Barclay hasn't moved. Still the Giants go through Beeson. She loops it over the top. How does it sit here for Schmidt? Oh, good tackle applied by Brazzali. She pushes Schmidt off the ball, picks it up, and they should clear here, the Blues. And they've got a bit of space to run. Slips through Jacobson's hands. A good old-fashioned one-on-one, Williams and Jacobson behind play. Barclay just slow to get to her feet.
I think what Carlton did well against Collingwood last week was they shifted the ball in a horseshoe type shape down around the back, and we want to see them do that this quarter.
Hemmed in against the boundary line. He's kicking backwards for the Giants. Tompkins, Renee Tompkins, sends it back in the same direction, and that'll be out of bounds on the full.
They're the little bits of the Giants' game that they need to improve on to become, you know, a real contender for the premiership long term. Is they've just got to fix little things up like their kicking and small decision-making errors. But they're on a journey, and they showed us today that they're well and truly on that journey.
It's all about just trying to maintain that composure under pressure, and we're seeing which team is probably the more experienced out here at the moment.
Absolutely, and you think about the Carlton teams, full of women who've played in the exhibition match series. They've played under pressure, they've played on TV before. These Giants girls, they've come off a soccer pitch, they've come off school grounds, they've come out of the under-18 national championships, and they've never played in such a competition like this before.
So the Blues, with the first 2 goals of this last quarter, they lead it by 12 points, still 10 minutes to play. Fighting hard is Lucas Rod, handball to Loynes. She has lifted in this last quarter, and great vision to get it off to Hosking, back to Lucas Rod. Vesio's there, coming in was Shearlaw. Pound, back to Shearlaw. Only started playing footy last year. How does it bounce? It's in the pocket, and it'll bounce well for the Blues.
Pound again at the fall of the ball. I'd be watching her if I was the GWS. You do not want to let a creative forward loose.
So for the Blues was Gillespie Jones in the ruck. Good to see her get back up after a big hit. Taken high here is Lauren Arnell, the captain. It's been a tough day for Lauren Arnell. 11 disposals. One of the stars for the Blues last Friday night. She finished it off with a good captain's goal at the Legends stand end of the ground. And here a chance.
Can she make the distance, Shiloh?
Absolutely.
So on the approach, the captain, the 29-year-old, to put it just about out of reach of the Giants. Offhands still alive. It's a bit of a scrimmage at ground level on the edge of the goal square.
A few sore bodies out there, Cal. Even Arnell just a moment ago was very slow to get up, and you know, we're starting to see some players take their time getting up off the deck because it's been such a hard physical contest today, which I've really enjoyed.
But it's hot, and we heard Bree Davey at halftime talk about how the heat is coming into this game. They're running lots.
And at the moment, the Giants are wilting out there in that last quarter. And up and under. Who can get there first? Reading at best. Loynes dispossessed. Mark's been paid. It's been their experienced players, hasn't it, that have really elevated their game in the last quarter?
Absolutely. When the game's there to be won, you've got to rely on your experience, and you can't coach experience. You have to draft it, and they're the ones that will generally bring you to the fore when the pressure's on, like today.
So Loynes, the oldest player for the Blues, great composure, gives it off to Brazzali, who is a beautiful kick. The 23-year-old plays for Diamond Creek, picked 62 in the draft. Lauren Brazzali from directly in front. And that just might be the sealer for the Blues.
That was a little bit sloppy by the GWS Giants. I don't think Loynes was ever a chance of going deep into the goal square, so they had to man up around the 30 to 45 metre mark because they couldn't kick the distance, and there was 2 Carlton players free. I think that's just a little bit of lack of concentration.
Absolutely, potentially a little bit of mental fatigue. It's been the sort of game today that you've played contest by contest. Players get very tired in those circumstances.
So 7 minutes to play, and it might just be out of the Giants' reach. Blues with their biggest lead of the afternoon. It's 19 points. It's been high scoring as well, which is good to see. 7 goal kickers for the Blues. We've had 4 for the Giants. Defensive spoil Applied by Sarah last. Couldn't quite see it over. So the Giants go again. And a centering kick. How will it bounce? Oh, that's a goal for the Giants. Hannah Wallet, the late inclusion. She cashes in. So just about when you thought that the margin was all too much, Hannah Wallet, the 26-year-old from Canberra, draws it back to within 13 points.
Well, I think she was channeling Kate Stanton, the person that she's actually replaced in the team, because they're the sorts of goals that Kate Stanton loves to kick. And just composure there. She actually meant to hit the hot spot, I'm sure, and was kicking there to a teammate in Renee Tompkins, but managed to get the ball through for a goal, and we're 2 goals down.
Nerily Meadows.
She certainly knows where the goals are, Kelly. In Canberra in 2014, she had a game where she kicked 14 goals. That's better than Buddy.
That's not bad at all. And they are still alive here, the Giants. Gee, this is gutsy stuff.
Nez, what's the wind like down there?
It keeps coming and going. It's not really impacting the footy too much. It's a bit of a swirly breeze. It's more so that it cools us all down, to be honest, because it is still very hot out there.
Do you think that heat is affecting the girls?
Oh, no doubt about it. You saw how red-faced they were at half-time. The heat is certainly impacting them, and that's why they do have the shorter quarters, because the AFL took that into account at the start of this competition. I also wanted to ask you one, Kate. We've got a lot of talk on social media about the strapping that's behind the ear of the girls of the Carlton players. We've seen that a bit this competition. It's to do with concussion, you were telling us last week.
Yeah, we saw Melbourne last week had concussion sensors just behind their ears, so that when they do get a knock, the sensor can read the type of force on the brain. The AFL told us in the induction camp that this would be a possibility, and possibly because there was a few concussions in round 1, they may have to do some work on it.
So 5 minutes to play in this contest. It's been enthralling right from the opening bounce. Blues lead it by 13 points. They've kicked 3 goals to 1 in this last quarter, but the Giants just keep on going. Here's Wallet tackling. Last goal kicker. Picked up well by Walker on debut. Great vision. Flicks it wide for Schmidt. How does it sit for her? She just goes to ground. Flicked out the back. Going without it there. For the Giants was Nicola Barr, and Arnell sees it over.
They had the numbers there, the Giants, and they just went to ground a bit too easily, or they fumbled the ground balls, and they're the sorts of things that separate, you know, sub-elite from being elite and being able to capitalise on those opportunities.
So they've kicked 5 goals for the match, the Giants. They're going to have to kick at least 2 in the final 5 minutes. Tell you what, the way they've played, though, nothing is impossible. Hurried kick inside 50.
I really like, they're still attacking so hard. They have not lost any spirit.
Hardiman for the Blues. Pinpoint pass to Downey. Got a bit of run about them here. Oh, good defensive spoil from Williams. Brush, can she keep it in? Out of bounds on the full. It'll be a Blues ball. So Shay Audley, one of the goal kickers for the Blues. High up and under. Sheila was the target off hands in front of the interchange gates, and the Blues just keeping those changes rolling on. Tired legs out there in the heat of the day. McKinnon reaches up, gives it off to Dalpos. A bouncing ball. Who does it sit for here? Davey goes the fend off. Wasn't quite effective. Last, not quite. McWilliams outnumbered the Giants player, and Hardiman juggling the mark and dropping it in the end was Nicola Barr. Good pressure applied by the Blues, and they're happy just to keep seeing this boundary line in the final 4 minutes.
Oh, absolutely. I want to go back to Delpos. She's going to have a little bit of intel on the Carlton girls. She plays at the Darebin Falcons, and we know that Lauren Arnell and Darcy Vesio are Darebin Falcons players. So she might have helped the coaching staff with the game plan today. And they've locked those 2 down, really. I mean, Vesio has not been nearly as critical as she was last week, and Arnell either.
2 goals for the Blues. Vesio hasn't seen a lot of it. Goal kickers Jacobson, Audley, Pound, Downey and Brazzali. For the Giants, they could only kick 1 goal in a game of footy last week. Schmidt, Barclay, McWilliams, Dowpos and Wallet. Umpires picked out a free kick. It'll go the way of the Blues, so it's going to come back. 2.5 minutes left. 7,884. They are enjoying every minute of this contest. Plenty of whistle in the last few moments. Free kick here to Sheila.
Sheila has actually been a great second option so that Vesio doesn't have to do all the work up forward.
Vesio, here she goes. She picks it up. She scoops. She gets around her opponent and she kicks hurriedly. How does it sit here for Jacobson? Oh, what a tackle from Williams. Williams was a player that coat-hangered Aaron Phillips last week, and that is a goal-saving tackle from the 23-year-old.
I'll tell you what, Vesio knew that Jacobson was on there. She was not going for goal. She was going to put the ball into advantage.
So they're still under the pump here, the Giants defenders. Tackling hard is the skipper, Ferrugia, setting the tone. 1.5 minutes to play. Gillespie Jones and McKinnon. Tackle, Pound. Tough stuff on Schmidt.
What we've learnt, Cal, in the last couple of weeks already is how important the long kicking game is, and kicks that promote width and space to promote that fast flow of play, and it hasn't been more evident than it has been today.
Top of the goal square, Ferrugia. Was it a push in the back against Vesio? She wants a free. She's desperately appealing. The umpire says no. Kicked another 2 to go on top of her 4 from round 1. Gillespie Jones and McKinnon flicked out the back. Hosking can't get her hands clear. Eventually does. Gillespie Jones fires off the handball. Coming in is Kennedy, so too is Pound. She's been in everything. Well played by the Giants. The clearing kick. Nguyen on debut and Beeson team up. Nguyen goes again. Physio by trade. She's tackled by a couple of Blues players, and we're in the final minute here at Ikon Park.
Well, if you're Tim Schmidt, you're really happy with your team's effort. I think you'd be disappointed to not get the result, but really buoyed by the effort and the intensity and the way in which they've bounced back from that loss last week.
Still putting everything into it in these final few seconds. Downey. And the Blues survive a major scare. But they make it 2 from 2 at their spiritual home in front of another significant crowd. And they have set the tone for this competition.
We are the Navy Blues. We are the old dark Navy Blues. We're the team that never lets you down. We're the only team old Carlton knows. With all the champions they like to send up, we'll keep our end up, and they will know that they